Kia ora, welcome into Tanley Street and another week of the form where we do preview the best races coming up over the weekend with our expert panel. And before we do touch on what is going to be another fantastic weekend of racing, we better talk about the racing that was on Saturday. And of course it was the New Zealand Derby. Leith, good morning to you back in studio. What did you make of Sharp and Smart and Ryan Elliott's ride?
Yeah, Ryan just rode him a treat, didn't he? He took bad luck out of the equation, got out at the right time, and you know, to be fair, the horse was too good, and it was just great for Graham and Debbie Rogerson.
Absolutely, it was. Joining us again this week too is Brendan Popplewell, and BP, you were on track as well. What did you make of his performance, and were there any other highlights for you?
Yeah, a number of highlights. Good morning to you, Pip. Around Derby Day itself, I thought it was a terrific day. Babylon Berlin really set it up with her dominant victory and a win that really did look on the cards with how she's performed in 3 Group 1s prior to that when finishing into second position. Yeah, Sharp and Smart, we were there to see him. He was a runner that was really strongly backed. I thought there was a lot of good runs in the race too. Andalus nearly pulled off a big result for the stable once again. Of course, they did it with Crown Prosecutor, got close last weekend. Full of sincerity. Both of those runs were really good, and Mark Twain too from back in the field. They've got their paths towards races like the Australian Derby now, so it'd be great to be able to see those horses now go to Australia and see if that form can really hold up over the next few weeks.
Absolutely, it will be, BP. Looking forward to seeing that. So let's have a look what's coming up for you this week here on the form. We do look forward to all of the action out on Pukekohe, the feature preview, the Bone Crusher, Wait for Age New Zealand Stakes there has produced some marvellous winners in the past, and I'm sure it will again this Saturday. Our race trackers, the Trentham features as well. We head down the bottom of the North Island, the Pukekohe features, and then to round out the show, we'll be trying to find you our best bets for the weekend. Time for our feature preview. It is the Group 1 Bone Crusher at Wait for Age over the 2,050 metres. And of course this year run a little bit differently at Pukekohe and not Ellerslie. And Brendan, as we bring you back in and touch on the track conditions, currently a good 4. Are we expecting that on Saturday? And who's your favourite winner in the past out of the Bone Crusher?
Oh, gee, loaded question there, Pip. First of all, we'll start with the the weather. There is some rain expected through Friday morning, and just how much rain we get through that period. So a bit of a watch on what happens Friday. After that, we do have some sunshine. So currently the track condition sits in the good 4, and they've had very good weather throughout the week. But just to watch what happens the day before the race meeting could be a key pointer. Look, the Bone Crusher race recently, and especially with where we've seen the race day around, you know, the Auckland Cup and also the Sistema, the Melody Bell Dance race is one that obviously springs to mind. You've probably got the man right next door to you there that will also be liking the fact that Ocean Park was very good a couple of years ago. But yeah, the Bone Crusher race sets up to be a beauty because of what we've seen with the 3-year-old inclusion of Prowess.
It really does. So let's take a look at the market where Prowess is certainly kept safe, but so is your current favourite in Le Creek. And she did open up at $3. She was backed into 2.8. Prowess, your favourite, 2.4. Campanessa at $5 and Defibrillate at $7.50. The only other runner in single figures. Leith, before we do touch on the speed map, obviously Ocean Park, one of your favourites, but who else stands out for you in the Bone Crusher?
Yeah, look, it's always been a good race. I ran second to a very good horse called Excellent on St. Reams. As you know, Excellent went on to, he won it as a 3-year-old as well, so Excellent went on to one. I think he ran third in the Melbourne Cup, and even Mickey Coleman got to win on him.
Well, you know how important it is to find a position in the race, so where do you see the favourites mapping? Do you see Le Creek going forward again?
Yeah, I think so. If True Enough is having its third run back in this time, and it probably can lead over 2,000 metres, so it'll be interesting. If True Enough doesn't lead, I think Le Creek will sit outside the leader, or Craig Grills will get a nice, easy, uncontested lead in front.
And you've got Prowess up on the pace as well?
Yeah, I think she's got the perfect draw on 7 where Michael can just dictate, you know, with 52 kilos, she won't want to be giving Le Creek too much of a head start.
Well, let's take a look at one of the favourites. It is Le Creek, and she does come out of the Wait for Age out of Otaki last start. And what did you make of this run? Because BP, she really came back at Levante in the end, and she steps up to the 2,000 now where she looks like she's wanting it.
Yeah, I like the fact that she's now at 2,050 metres for Saturday's race, because this race really did indicate that she was still going again on the line. Levante's gone up, goes up to win the race and puts them away. But you can see here, she really does come back at Levante. So this is over 1,600 metres, now to 2,050 metres, and with her likelihood of putting herself in the race, she gives herself every chance. We do have to probably chat about the third horse in that race too, because that's the second Group 1 placing too for Chase, who goes up now to the 2,050 metres. That shouldn't be an issue for that horse going beyond the mile. So 2 Group 1 placings this season at the weight for age grade. But I like La Creek in the race because when we've seen her go beyond a mile, we've seen her run 2 terrific races. We saw her win the Avondale Guineas as a 3-year-old when blowing them off the racetrack over 2,100 metres, and then of course was beaten when finishing at a second position and an unlucky second in the New Zealand Derby behind Asterix. So, yeah, as you said, Leith, she does look like she does get the right sort of map in the race where she can at least sort of set things up for her to give her best chance.
Yeah, especially if the rain does turn up on Friday like it's meant to. I think if the track gets to a soft sort of 5 or 6, I think she's probably the horse to beat in the race. I see they've got hoof pads on her, so they must be a little bit wary that, you know, if it is firm, it's just going to take the bite out of her feet.
All right, well, let's have a look at Prowess now, the 3-year-old filly in the race, who, look, just creates it creates the race, doesn't it, having her in it. She didn't go towards the Derby. The stable explained the reasons for that, so we get an opportunity to see her against the older horses, and she gets in with the 52 kilograms. Michael McNabb, of course, takes the ride. And Leith, this is a dominant performance against her own sex. And look, we've seen second and third in this race perform over stakes level last weekend. Of course, Sakura Girl winning the Sunline Vase. Contagious, who runs into third position here, running a placing in the Lowlands. So we've seen the 3-year-old filly form stack up, and I just can't wait to see her against the older horses and really see what she's got to offer, because I think we all know she's going to offer plenty to this race.
Yeah, I think it might be a bit of a master stroke by Roger and Robert. Obviously, they didn't dodge Sharp and Smart, but they've elected, you know, they've set this horse for this race over 2,000 metres, and you know sometimes it's hard if you go 2,400 metres and you want to take them to Australia for the Vinery that goes back to 2,000. So, you know, I think she's if the track's good, I think she's the one they will have to beat.
Positioning in the race for Prowess, you spoke about it in the map with where she's drawn in barrier number 7. What's her ideal spot here in this race for Saturday?
I think Michael will be positive. He'll just try and get on Le Creek's back. He gets 4.5 kilos, and it's a pretty good push in the weights. And you know, if it's a sprint home, I think she'll get over the top of Le Creek late.
All right, well, let's talk about another chance in the race that has won a Group 1, and of course it was at this venue and the Zabeel Classic, and I speak of Defibrillate, and this was on Boxing Day for his particular victory here. Look, post this victory, he ran a gallant race, I thought, Leith, when finishing 4th in the Herbie Dyke, because he had to go forward. He was trapped wide, and he was only beaten a margin of 3 lengths in the end, and only just nabbed on the line between 3rd and 4th by Wild Knight. How do you line up him?
Yeah, I think he's obviously the next top 3 chance in the race. He's very good at Te Rapa. He had to do a little bit of work down the back straight, and then you know, he only sort of died on his run the last sort of 50 metres. So back to weight for age, he's tough, he's hard, and he's fit.
He is, and you've got horses like the Mare that were in that race, and Chase, who finished in 4th and 6th position respectively. This is the Herbie Dyke, and a chance to line up Campionessa, who gets out of that pocket and has that little battle with Sharp and Smart. I certainly would rule a line through Asterix, who finishes into, 10th position, does throw a plate, and we'll hear from the team very shortly to see how he's worked on since then. So this is a good race to look at, because Campionessa, boy, she did really give Sharp and Smart a bit of a fright, and she looks to be a leading chance. She's got support around her in that third line of betting.
Yeah, she's just improved her last 3 starts, Campionessa. Like, she was at November, she was down at Christchurch, and she won a 2,500 metre. You know, it was a pretty average sort of handicap race, and she stepped up to weight for age last start, so she's on the improve.
Well, it's time now to catch up with some of the key trainers that do have runners in the Bone Crusher. And Aidan, just asked Graham Richardson how happy he is with Defibrillate.
It's only a month between races, which is fine, and I've done a bit with him this time. He just got over raced last time with no pace in the race, and he went to the races last week and had a hit out between races at Rotorua and had a hit out this morning. It was nice work this morning, so he's very forward. So looking forward to Saturday. Warren Kennedy back on board, and yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, good. He's getting there, the old boy. He's certainly lacks that bit of dash over shorter trips now, so up to the 2,000 metres he'll get his chance, and if he can recapture anywhere near his best form from a few years ago, he'll be competitive.
He worked over 1,200 metres with a mate and on the grass, and look, he worked really well, the horse. He sort of had His last run didn't look very encouraging, but bear in mind he did pull a front plate and would certainly have a big bearing on the horse's performance. Since then he's been 100%. His work this morning was very encouraging.
When Opie was trying to push out, I thought he was actually travelling better than Sharp and Smart at the time, but he was just too good on the day, and he's franked that form as well. So no, she's been a bit of a find this season, starting off probably with a rating of probably about 70, I think, at the start of the season. So no, she's going really well.
I thought it was a very good run. Just had a little bit of a bump from Sharp and Smart, and just probably took the stuffing out of her a little bit, but it was a game effort.
Yeah, really good. I think sort of a shame we had that sort of persistent rain before the Otaki run. It was just enough to make it an off track for her. She just loses that bit of ping on it. But yeah, no, she has done very well actually. She travelled away well and she came home well, and yeah, she's just been business as usual really since that run.
Look, she looks well. She's bouncing, and we know she handles the 2,000 metres around Pukekohe.
Well, it's now time to put one on top. So, Brendan, we'll go to you. Are you with the filly or are you looking elsewhere?
Yeah, look, I tell you what, this is a real battle trying to work this race out, to be honest with you. Look, I think Asterix is a really nice top 4 bet in the race if you are looking for a play in the race. I'm going to stick with Le Creek. It's a horse who's getting out to close to $3, and I just wonder if there's going to be more support for horses like Campionessa with Opie Bosson on and how well it ran behind Sharp and Smart and Prowess, that maybe she starts to get to a very backable price. They have spoken so often that they need to get to 2,000 metres with her in her preparation. That trip away, she really should strip a fit horse ready for this race. So happy to sit with her, La Creek, with what position she might get in the run, and as I said, around that $3, $3.20 mark. What about for you, Leith?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Prowess. I think the 4.5 kilo swing off Le Creek, it's going to be vital the last 50 metres. And yeah, interesting. Warren Kennedy had to stick with the Fivliate. I don't know he loves Prowess, but I won't lose any points with Michael McNabb in the saddle.
And you can watch all of the action Te Abbey Trackside 1 Saturday 4:47 and see who grabs Group 1 glory. Fun for our racetrackers, horses or greyhounds that might have been a little bit unlucky or caught the eye that we've found for you. And we're going to start with you, Leith, as per usual. Who have you found this week?
I'm going to go back to Manawatu on the 1st of March. Family Ties, she just had no luck the whole way up the straight. They went so slow on this race, and Opie got pocketed back behind midfield, and she still managed to run the fastest 600 of the race. So, you know, the Oaks looks like a nice race for her, 2,400 metres. Obviously, Legato and Prowess not there anymore, and 2 weeks ago the Oaks looked like a little bit sort of down on numbers and form, but a few of these fillies have been putting their hands up the last 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's still a murky puzzle, that one, isn't it? And of course, Secura Girl, who was very good throughout the weekend, is now the favourite for that race. Savacat was certainly looking at trying to get to a path towards the New Zealand Oaks, but really needed to be winning this race, and unfortunately covered a lot of extra ground in the race and still finished into 4th position. It was an enormous run by Savacat. Find the right race for Savacat, and she shouldn't be too far away from the winner's circle. As I said, she was 3 wide throughout and nearly finished 3rd, but finished in the 4th spot there.
And I'm going to Palmerston North, a greyhound called Inner Space. This is her in the gold rug here. Very good field. That's Big Time Reward out in front. That's been a winner. Thrilling Ralph to his outside. And she's in the gold. She looms up here in the straight to win this race. I almost called it to do just that. But as she's coming up the home straight here, Thrilling Ralph gets on her heels and actually just drags her completely down. She still ends up coming back to finish 2nd. She'll run around on Sunday at Monaco in an outside alley of box 7. I'm not sure if she can get into it from there, but definitely follow her. She should have been winning this race on Wednesday, and I think she'll be picking up one at short notice. Here's a summary of our race trackers. Leith with Family Ties heading towards the Oaks. Brendan with Savacat for Team Rogerson. Bevan's jumped in with King of Hearts for Thomas Russell, and I've got Inner Space there for Lisa Cole. Note them down, and hopefully we find your winner in the coming weeks. other domestic meeting on Saturday is out of Trentham, and we've got a couple of nice races on that program as well. BP, will head back to you. Currently a soft 5. Is there any bad weather projected?
Well, there's some floating around. It's one of the hardest places to try and predict is Wellington weather, and especially when you start moving out to the Hutt. But there is the prospect of some rain maybe on that Friday, a little bit similar to what we spoke about with Pukekohe. So just watch there with what happens with that. But currently we sit at a soft 5.
Let's take a look at one of the features. It is the Open Handicap, the Fusion Electrical, and we do look forward to Brando again going out looking for 3 in a row, $4.80. Calico, your favourite though, at 2.5, and Lightning Jack at $3.50. Let's touch on Brando. He's won his last 2, including here at Otoki with the claim as well, BP, over the mile.
Yeah, this was good. I mean, this was a race that was actually just before the jump. We lost 2 horses at the start with late scratchings, and it just played into his hands because he just sat back and he just breezed on by. Leith, it's good to see him back to his winning form, a bit of confidence. He's won 7 from 22. We know he's got Group 1 ability. He's been Group 1 placed at this venue, Trentham, of course, in a Levin Classic when running into second position over 1,600 metres, and placed last year in the Weight for Age Classic. So, look, he's slowly getting it back together, and he gets a 3 kilo claim too with Seal Butler.
Yeah, the stable's done a great job to get him back into form, and he's got a lot of confidence, and sometimes those older horses have changed something up. They might be doing a bit of jumping with him or something like that, and yeah, he's loving life.
The other key chance in the race is, well, this is the race that we look at here, and it is with Calico. Now, Calico winning last time to the races on a heavy 10 surface, which was here over the 1,600 metres. She's had herself another trial since then, so she operates well when there's a little bit of cut in the ground. And look, it's a possibility of that, Leith. The track's sitting in that soft 5 range anyway, so if it's just got the fire out of it, that's going to bring her right into it, and she gets 2 kilos off down to 52 kilos.
Yeah, 52 is going to be a big plus for her. You know, she's got the perfect draw on gate 4 to just box just in behind them, and yeah, she's in great form.
Yeah, small but select field, isn't it, Leith, when you've got Calico with that performance in the Duro and even a horse like Lightning Jack. So there's a fair few ways to break it down. So which way did you go in the end, Leith?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Lightning Jack. I just think jumping back from Weight for Age, and he was unlucky at Wellington 2 starts ago, so he likes the track as well.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius has taken money. Bully Boy's got some form too. So even though it might be just a 7-horse field, it's, as I said, a number of ways you can cut it. I've gone with Calico. I just like the fact that this horse comes back to 52 kilograms, solid win on at the venue last time, had a good trial recently too, and just with that little bit of assistance in the track, maybe if it's around that 5 or 6, it brings her right into contention. So we'll go with Calico.
Well, not the only race we want to touch on the program. Let's take a look at the first, top of the hour at 1 p.m. It is a really nice 3-year-old race over the 1,200 metres. Might be small, but it certainly has class. Sans Doute at 1.8 is your favourite, and Intent at $4. Also kept safe in the market. Let's have a look at Sans Doute. She did pick up a nice race here last time at Te Rapa, BP underneath Opie.
Yeah, look, good race this. This is a maiden ASAT race that she's won, so she was already a race winner. And you look at the horses that she's beating here. Nuance, look, I'm sure we were looking for a bit better performance last weekend out of Te Rapa. Master Brutus has run another good placing. Outback Opal's been placed out of this race. Churchillian, who's won out of this race. Dapper Lad's been placed in. Now, look, I know those horses I've mentioned a little way off them, but she seems to be a class filly, this Leith, because we saw it in the early part of the spring where she was able to compete at stakes level, and that was a good win last time out to the races. This race I want to bring you in on, though, around Intent and Time's Up. These are the 2 horses that competed against each other recently, and this was back at Wanganui on the 23rd of February.
Yeah, Time's Up was a little bit unlucky this day, and looked beautiful looking horse, and CL Butler gets the claim. So, you know, I think 54 kilos, she's well suited down the straight at Trentham.
Yeah, I know it's a race too that we've seen Makatawa miss in there. Bevan Sweeney has certainly tipped that horse up deluxe when coming through sort of Levin jump outs and those sort of races, and jump outs and trials, and has trolled up recently for Gary Vole. Lisa Allpress aboard. Which way did you go in the end, Leith?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Time's Up. I just think she's a little bit of value. Sans Doute, obviously she's going to be very hard to beat, but I just thought Time's Up at the price is a good each way bet.
Yeah, look, I went with Sans Doute. Just you look 2 starts ago, beaten in behind Maven Bell. We know how good that form has been from Karaka Millionite and the Elman's Law, and then backed it up with what she did last time to the races. She might be short on, probably around that $2.80 mark. Kilo coming off down to 55 kilograms Sans Doute in the first.
And there's an 8-race program 2 out of Trentham. Make sure you're tuning in to Abbey Trackside 1 Saturday, nice and early at 11 a.m. for the Punters Lounge. Day out of Pukekohe, of course, the 2 Group 1s on the program and the Group 2. And we're now going to touch on the Sistema Stakes, race number 5. And we do look forward to this brilliant gelding. Tokyo Tycoon at $1.45 is your favourite. Ethereal Star at 4s and Ulanova at $10. Kept safe in the market. Tokyo Tycoon, Leith, tends to go back in his races. Are you mapping him there again on Saturday?
Not really. It's a small field. Opie's drawn barrier 3, so if they're going too hard, Opie will be 3 back. If not, he'll be in the trail. Yeah, the field's come up pretty light in numbers, but yeah, Ulanova looks a natural leader, and Bella Rigaza probably in the trail or thereabouts.
So it sets up a nice pace in the race.
Yeah, Ulanova runs at really good tempos. Like she got to take it on the whole race at Matter, and you know, I'd just put a little line across her last race.
We see that here. BP Ulanova's leading this race in the Karaka Million, but Tokyo Tycoon comes back through and ends up winning this, the gelding by Sotono Saladin.
Yeah, look, this is a good race to take in because of key rivals in the race. Tokyo Tycoon, who wins down the outside part of the track. Ulanova, who looks good and at one stage looks like he's going to win the Karaka Million. And Ethereal Star, who finishes into that second spot. So Ethereal Star and Ulanova, they do get their chances here over the 1,200 metres in a small field. Like Leith said, I think you can just rule a line through Ulanova's last run to the races out of Matamata. And look, this is a very soft win. Last time out in the slipper, wasn't it, Leith? He just sat back and he just knew that he could just power up and finish over the top of them. And what was wet track conditions, he blew them away.
Yeah, I'm picking about at the 200 metre mark. Opie and Aiden thought, geez, we've made the wrong decision twice in a row now. And it's good to see Opie back on Tokyo Tycoon. He looks like he's push button, and it's probably a race that he should really be winning.
Yeah, he's short enough, isn't he? He's 155 to 145, so already there's been that movement in the market thinking that 155 was a spoil when the prices came out on Wednesday afternoon. Let's have a look at another chance in the race, and this is Ethereal Star, who finishes into top position at the trials here at Avondale on the 21st of February. Of course, the horse who runs second here in the trials then came out and won recently out of Wingatui. I feel as though she's a decent threat in the race. She's a horse who probably screams 3-year-old filly to me, Leith, but looks to be one of the key dangers to the favourite.
She does, Brennan, you know, especially with the draw, you know, barrier 5. It's interesting, she's got blinkers on for the first time as well, so looks like she was pretty sharp at the trials.
Let's move to Ulanova, the obvious speed in the race, and we spoke about just how things didn't go her way last time out. Let's go back 2 starts ago, and this is where she was able to burn to the lead. She's performing off a better surface. The track kept getting better and better throughout the day here, Leith, where it was rated a soft 6. Last time on the heavy track, taken on, beaten 8 lengths. This is going to be more her go on the weekend with better ground. Yeah,
we all saw what happened at Matamata. She got taken on the whole race, and look, she was, you know, still got beaten 8 lengths, and she's going into this race having a 6 start, and it's quite a lot for a 2-year-old, so I'm just not sure if she might have had too many runs this time in.
Leith, we've spoken a lot about To Catch a Thief as well. Now, this is a horse that didn't run last time out to the races a couple of weeks ago due to the wet track. He's a runner that's performed well behind Trobriand and Tokyo Tycoon and has drawn 1. What sort of chance do you give him?
Yeah, he trialled up at Avondale as well, and he actually, it's the first time he jumped out, and that was at the trials. He had an inside gate, and look, he's got to be some big, I think he's a big chance, you know, if he can jump out and put himself there just behind the leaders, the county's track's going to really suit him.
Well, it's time now again to touch in with the connections. We'll start with Mark Walker, and Aidan just asked him how happy he is with Tokyo Tycoon leading into the race.
No, we're really happy with him. He's just going to have 1 gallop this week on Wednesday. So, no, he's in good form.
He's doing well. He's a very casual horse. He's a horse that, to me, is a Derby gelding next year. That's what he is. When he gets over a bit more ground, that's when you'll see something special.
Yeah, she's going really well. She's had a little bit of a freshen up since running in the Karaka Million race, and going into it on fresh legs should suit her.
Yeah, I think the track was a little bit iffy. She's probably one of those fillies, got a really good action, likes to sort of skip over the ground a bit, and she just couldn't really get her toe in properly, and didn't enjoy the conditions. So hopefully, with a nice weather forecast, hopefully Pukekohe's a lot better on Saturday.
Yeah, the likelihood of that is the case, as I said beforehand, that maybe that rain that's floating about on the Friday. Look, I do like To Catch a Thief as a top 3, top 4 chance if you are looking for a play in the race. To Catch a Thief's 240, top 3, 165 as a top 4 chance, and drawn in barrier number 1 and gets the chance to maybe get the right run in the race if you're looking for a play. I think if we're looking for a top selection, Tokyo Tycoon is the one that has shown that he is one of the leading 2-year-olds this season, and he gets a chance now to run for Group 1 glory. He won the Karaka Million 2 starts ago at this venue in devastating fashion, and the way that he put them away in the Mudda Slipper on a wet track, he's pretty hard to tip against, isn't he, Leaf?
He is, like any track conditions, you know, if it's good track, soft track, he's just a professional racehorse, and I hope he's got the perfect draw in barrier 3 where he can just ride him where he's comfortable, and I just think he'll be too good.
And that is race number 5 on the program at 3:06. And now let's move on to the Group 2 Auckland Cup worth $500,000, and this will kick off at 5:26 in the afternoon. Aquacade is your favourite at 2.7. Ladies Man at $4. Nerve Not Verve back from Australia at $8, and Dionysus there at $9. The only other runner again in single figures. Of course, Leith, this is the ultimate staying test. So where do you see a couple of the favourites mapping early?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting having a 2-mile race at Auckland, but you know, there doesn't seem a lot of speed on paper, and I think Aquacade's going to get a, you know, even though she's drawn barrier 13, you know, Warren will go forward on her somewhere, and you know, I thought Adarangi probably the natural leader in the race.
Well, let's have a look now at her recent performance at Aquacade. This is her taking out the Group 2 Avondale Cup, and she's now looking for 4 straight here, BP, and beats plenty of her race rivals again.
She does. Key race this, isn't it? The Avondale Cup, the natural stepping stone for many. Of course, some competed in the Nathans on the weekend just gone, which we'll talk about shortly, but she's just well placed. I mean, she won this race with 54 kilograms, beating home a horse like Henny Parter, who won the Avondale Cup last year. And Lee, she drops to 53 kilos. I mean, she just looks so incredibly well placed. Yet we're getting 270 compared to where she was in the futures market. So look, maybe it's a case that the bookmakers are saying we've got such a big liability in the futures market and others are getting played in the market. But I thought 270 was a bit of a spoil in the early markets.
Yeah, Henry Parra was getting 53 in the Counties Cup, and she goes to 55 as well, and Aquacade drops back to 53. So it's great, you know, training by Lance Noble to get her in the race with 53 kilos.
Well, here's Ladies Man, and this was the win last weekend. And Ladies Man winning this race, Leith, has just gone, hang on a minute, it's not just about Aquacade, because he's a horse that's run so well this year. He was gallant when running 4th over 3,200 metres, 2 starts to go behind leaderboard. He really is a genuine chance off the back of how he's won this race.
Yeah, it was interesting. Alan took the blinkers off him as well from Wellington Cup, where he just over-raced, and look, he relaxed really nice at Te Rapa with the noseband on, and look, I saw him after the race, and he had a bit of a puff as well, so there was improvement in him.
Well, we spoke about rain about on the Friday. I'm sure those that are closely connected to leaderboard will be looking for a fair bit of rain to maybe get it into a similar condition for Wellington Cup Day, because this was his victory last time too, the races in the Wellington Cup. He went around at $50. I know they've done a number of different things with his training method leading into the race, and look, it worked. You've got other horses here, Leith, that we need to pinpoint to. The runs of Dionysus, Ladies Man, Henny Parter and Cohen behind.
Yeah, and it was guided by a very good ride by Jockey Dore. Got to the outside best part of the track, and look, if it is, you know, turns to sort of heavy, he's sort of some sort of top 4 chances, isn't he?
And then Nerve Not Verve, a 7-year-old mare now by Shocking, and of course she started her preparation here in New Zealand. She adds a bit of interest to the race with her Australian form, and this was her last start effort out of Moonee Valley over the 2,500 metres when running second. Yeah,
she looks very down, doesn't she? And you know, the 2 miles going to suit her. And you know, she actually won her last race at Pukekohe in 2019 in May. So you know, it's good that Mike brought her back over there for you know, a sort of a race that he knows that she's well placed in.
Brings another factor into the race as we now head back to some key trainers, and Aidan did catch up with Roger James and just asked him how Dionysus is tracking into the race.
Yeah, look, second 2-mile race in 6 weeks, so but look, he's at the top of his game, I think.
Really good. His run in the Avondale Cup was terrific. He's just finding form at the right time, and yeah, a couple of the favourite horses, we don't know if they get the 2-mile. It's obviously a big thing, but yeah, look, we're very happy with him. His work's been great. He worked over 1800 this morning, wouldn't have blown a candle out. He's very bright, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's what they need. Like, if the track was even dead, I don't think they'd be chances, but you never know if that rain that was forecast arrived, and it changes the complexion of the race totally.
Just tell us, Soprano Supreme, what about her? How has her build-up been?
Yeah, she's just not quite as good unless she's got the jar out of the track, but I think she'll run 2 miles easily enough. But as I say, not quite the same unless it's at least a slow track.
She's going super. That's the most important thing. You know, I think some of the boys over there had a question where she can get the 2 miles. Mike's adamant that she can. She'll run them along a little bit, I guess. And look, there's a couple of pretty smart ones in the field, but you know, Group 2's over there. It'll be interesting to see how they measure up. But she wouldn't be here if Mike didn't think she wasn't a chance.
Yeah, I like what she brings to the race, nerve, not verve. And when you look at the South Island interest too of Dunhill, who went over 2,600 metres, the Wellington Cup form. Yeah, we've got the right formula here for the Barfoot and Thompson Auckland Cup. Aquacade, that unknown, I guess, over 3,200 metres, but she is the real up-and-comer throughout this racing season with what we've seen from her and her dominant victory over 2,400 metres in the Avondale Cup. I do like the horse in behind her to say that they can run in the money, but Leith with her in her 53 kilograms, she really is, I feel as though, the one to beat, and she's at 270, Aquacade.
Yeah, obviously Lincoln King, he's got good form over 2 miles. He gets Opie on as well. But I just can't go past Aquacade. Look, she's going to be up there on the speed somewhere, and if she can run home in 34, I just don't think anything else in the field can match her the last 600 metres.
It's going to be a massive day. Make sure you are tuning into all the action on Te Abe Trackside 1. First race at Pukekohe kicks off at 12:40 p.m. So if you can't get down, make sure you catch the action.
It is Federal Aussie the inside. On the outside, Big Time Raider. Then we've got Thrilling Ralph, Spacetron starting to unleash down the outside, but Federal Aussie has a winning advantage and scores from Spacetron and Thrilling Ralph.
Hanger with Hector still 4 lengths away. Really hard to quicken on this track today as Major Fire race to the lead. Major Fire's going on to win it.
The Whispering Artist still giving plenty. Jolimont, the Whispering Artist may have gone to the lead. She has. The Whispering Artist draws away in the latter part. And the Whispering Artist too good for Jolimont.
Extraordinaire, Belcamina, Crackerjack starts to thunder home the last little bit. Extraordinaire and Belcamina, the favourites go to the lead together. Heads up, heads down. A ding-donger, but Extraordinaire.
Then Devil in Disguise from McDreamy in 7-11. Marching on Tabby came back through under It's the Vibe. Marching on Tabby, It's the Vibe. They come to the wire. It's the Vibe won it.
Then Ulanova further back, then is Pignon. It's Zurion in front from on the outside, low flying further back then to Pignon. But Zurion 2 from 2 and she wins the Matamata Breeder Stakes.
Yeah, that's punting. Plenty of ups and downs, and it was more downs than ups. So last time we did have our best bets, so hopefully we can get a bit more form for you this time. Leith, who have you found?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Barfoot and Thompson Auckland Cup. I just think Aquacade, $2.70, she's great money. Like she's at one stage she got to $2.10 in the market, and then Ladies Man come out and won like he did last week. But I just think she's obviously there's a question mark over 2 miles, but she's in great form, and I think she'll be winning.
Yep, she does look the one to beat in that race. I'm going to go with Astron in race number 10. Boy, this horse had flames coming out of the rear end when flying home last time to the races at Awapuni. Was back last, came home and broke 11 seconds for the last 200 metres. He's got a tricky barrier draw to work with, but certainly do like Astron in race 10. What's Bevan Sweeney got for us, Pip?
He's with Belladonna Lily. Race number 3 at Otaki did finish second and behind Sterling and finished nicely down the outside under Craig Grills. Had the fastest last 600 and 800 metres too of the race. So race number 3 there at Otaki on Friday for Sweens. And I'm going to go to Palmerston North on Friday as well for the afternoon meeting. A dog, Sunday I should say actually, at Manukau. A dog called Big Time Jonas, but he did have his run last start at Palmerston North. He had the pink rug on. He couldn't quite quite get into the race. He was checked out of it. I think he'll be picking up the win again on Sunday at Manukau in race number 3. Here's a summary for you. The Wales got Monarch Hill at Alexandra Park on Friday. Bevan starts us off first, and Justin go Loshi at Gore on Sunday, meeting code 6, race number 5. Note them down. Hopefully we've found you plenty of winners for the weekend. That's all the time we've got. Thanks to Leith for joining us and Brendan Popplewell. We'll catch all of the action on TAB Trackside 1 on Saturday, and best of luck to everyone involved.